Without further ado, let us get to the pitches that we've all been so excited to hear about. Let's welcome Dr. Eike Post up on stage.
Good afternoon. My name is Eike. How's everyone doing here? Good? All right. So some of you, how many of you have been in the blockchain industry for more than 1 year? So most of you are quite recent, but some of you probably have heard projects say blockchain will revolutionize the world. Who of you has heard this before? This statement, yeah? So quite a lot. Well, many times it's just hot air. But there is one area where, in fact, blockchain will revolutionize a lot of things. One area where there is a $200 trillion opportunity. One area we already heard about today, which is the tokenization of company equity with equity token offerings for STOs. And the reason is that most of the companies in the world are still private, and only a very small percent is public. And when you're private, when you're an investor or any shareholder of this company, you have a big problem that you cannot liquidate your shares. You cannot get money. So an investor would invest in a company, and you might only get the money after 10 years. So blockchain technology offers, with Way of Trust, the potential to do something in between IPO and private shareholding. And this is because the costs of doing an equity ICO are much lower than for an IPO, while at the same time, the liquidity is almost the same. Now, of course, this has not happened yet, because there are not many exchanges that deal with equity tokens, but it's going to happen. And my prediction is that in 10 years from now, 25% of this circle will actually be tokenized company shares. So we've seen that there are a lot of problems in the general crypto investment, ICO investment, but more specifically in STO, equity token investments. So some of these problems are listed here. Number one, KYC. If you want to invest in any ICO project, you have to do KYC every single time. Every single time you have to give your data to the ICO. Two, all of you who have invested in ICOs are probably very familiar that a lot of them, more than 50%, are scams. There's no good mechanism right now to prevent the scam. Next one, privacy. When I'm investing in an ICO, the ICO gets to know my wallet, and they can see what other transactions I've made with the wallet. Then exchanges. For the STO specifically, first of all, you need to get the license to be able to trade in STOs. And for any ICO, it's very difficult right now to get listed in an exchange. And then for STOs specifically, there are more than 50 jurisdictions with their own security laws. And you have to navigate through the whole system. So all of this is extremely complicated. But it's a huge opportunity. So there's a huge opportunity, a huge market, but there's also huge problems. So that's where, about a year ago, me and several friends came together and said, look, there's a huge opportunity, but a lot of problems, so how do we solve it? And we created the Nuclear Crypto Investment Bank. So we worked together, my company, NuclearBlock Ventures, with my partner Justin, who's also here, and our partner, technology partner, Applicature, as well as BlockOn, who is, has offices here in Singapore. And we created teams that are focused on solving each one of those problems. Each one of the problems we saw before and more are being solved by separate founder teams. And all of these teams have, the founders have either advanced degree as MBAs or as PhDs, or they have worked at Fortune 500 companies, or they have serial entrepreneurial experience, having several exits in their pocket. So it's really what I would call a dream team. And this is how we do it. So our main projects here are primary and secondary market. So the primary market is where you do the initial investment in STOs, and where we have the accredited investors that we screen doing the KYC once, KYC. We have our own KYC solution, KYC bench, doing the KYC to make sure we have accredited investors here, and they can then invest in the STOs. So Nuclear Market is kind of like an ICO bench, but it has a tool where you can raise money instantly. And then the secondary marketplace is the second key element, and then the other companies are support companies. Quickly, because it's not one project, it's 6 projects, and I only got probably less than 5 minutes remaining. Nuclear Market. So we have a tool where founders can raise money basically within 5 minutes. And with that tool, with the ICO Cavern solution, we actually have already raised 4 other companies over $150 million. Illumor. Illumor is the exchange solution. It's not STO ready yet. We're looking to get the license. But we've already gotten investment from Kinetic of over $1 million, specifically for Illumor. Token Guard is our solution for investor protection, while at the same time guaranteeing funding security to the founders. The special way that we do it, we have an advisor network where we put our own advisors into the ICO, and those advisors are the main element determining if there is a scam or not, and they can release the money or not. Then we got KYC Bench, already recently started, but already profitable. And then we got Token Deals, a platform to manage airdrops and bounties. And finally, we got Syndicate Maker, a company that is trying to achieve the same benefits for retail investors, small investors like some of you, as for the whale investors by pooling investment solutions. So those 6 companies together, let me just go back quickly. Those 6 companies together form the NuclearBlock ecosystem, which forms a decentralized investment bank called Nuclear Crypto Investment Bank. And now we are launching 2 tokens. Token number 1 is the utility token, with utility where you can get a discount on all the services in all the different companies that are part of the NuclearBlock Alliance ecosystem. And then we have the investment token. The investment token is for investment in STO projects. So it's similar structure as a company you might have heard of called Polymath. There's some other companies doing that. So we provide lower fees, of course. If you invest with our token, you get much lower fees. And you get privacy, so it's not like you invest with Bitcoin, you invest with Ethereum, where everybody can see your wallet. With our token solution, you cannot. And then we got the on-chain implementation of security legislations, which means that some of the regulations of the SEC, like Regulation D, Regulation A+, are put into the blockchain protocol. But so far, all of the companies that have tried, or that are doing this, are only doing this for the US. So we're an international team, we have many lawyers as founders, and we don't want to only put the US on there. We want to put the global security legislations on there because they're investors from all over the world. And then finally, we also associate security rights. So what it means is that with tokenization, you not only can pay the shareholders a certain dividend, but you can put any kind of right into the token. For example, you are a real estate company, you're tokenizing your company, and now you can say, for all the shareholders that have been with my company for more than 1 year, I'm going to give some free housing. These are benefits you can put into the tokens. Not possible, of course, with shares. So right now we're raising money. We are in private sale. And in fact, we're also open for equity investment. And please, if you want to know more, the easiest would be to just take a picture of my LinkedIn profile and connect to me on LinkedIn. Thank you very much. No? All right. Oh yeah, you got a question?
My name is Alex.
Yes.
So I saw as a solution, you provide, you have made a breakdown for each solution apart, separate companies.
Hello? So a solution, you have break down everything into separate companies, as I understand, separate web pages that come with a solution for each of the issue apart. Are you thinking to segregate all of that into one platform, one solution that will come up with all together, so it would be confusing for people, you know, to...
Yeah, so from my founder experience, you always want to focus on one thing. You don't want to focus on too many things. However, the problems were so complex that really we felt there needs to be different solution providers. So instead of saying we're going to create one big entity that's solving all of these problems, we rather partly created our own companies with the NuclearBlock Ventures, and we invested in other teams that are working on other specific problems. So how we set up the structure is that in terms of the equity, every founder, part of different companies, has an incentive in every other company. So basically they have all hold shares in a pool where everyone has an incentive that the other company is going to do well. So it's a little bit complex because we want to give everybody in the ecosystem incentives to work for the whole ecosystem, but also to have separate companies. All right.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Can we thank Dr. Eike